Okay. Hi, Kerry.
Hi, Hock. Long time no see. We're
Yeah,
seeing in 3D.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm so
okay.
glad. I'm so glad you are here today. And first of all, I like to introduce myself to perhaps new viewers. I'm Hock, and I'm an energy healer specializing in blue energy from the Eastern Heavens. And today we're going to interview with Kerry Chu. And well, Kerry Chu is an intuitive healer and a self-transformation coach and a very passionate photographer. She has a unique ability to recall dreams with clarity and do most of her planetary and off-planet healing in other dimensions and realities. Carrie emanates a beautiful, joyful energy and essence, such as from the beloved Kuan Yin and the divine feminine. So, Carrie, um, where are you based now?
London, just around the border of London, which is thankfully very quiet. So
Uh-huh.
I'm not in the middle of the city now. And what was very interesting is my Matrix job actually ended 2 weeks ago, just as the coronavirus was hitting here. And
Oh,
then the manager thought I was very upset, but then I thought to myself, oh, this is perfect timing. And, to tell me that I have to, do my work elsewhere and not in the Matrix jobs. So it was yeah, it was like, wow, well, that hit me right there. Perfect timing. So yeah, so I live around the border of London, next to the rivers, and really a big green spaces, lots of park around. So I'm just very grateful right now for everything. And it's an honor to be here with you, Hawk.
oh, thank you. And since you are there now, uh, could you give a little bit of an update of what's happening in London, UK, or about this coronavirus happenings there?
Oh, you know what? Just now, I'm just reading the news actually because I don't really read mainstream news as much. But then here, the mayor of London, Boris Johnson, he mentioned that people can only go out once for exercise by themselves, and the maximum people they can be with at a short distance is just one other person. So you can only have two people down the street for like basically at once. And if anyone is found in groups, yeah, they will be given warnings and things like that. And then you can only go for a grocery shop, and that's it. So you
Yeah,
can't really go out apart from that. Well, which is expected.
yeah, people need to stay at home.
We lock ourselves in
Yep, that's,
voluntarily.
you know, the funny part is by staying at home, you are fighting the situation just by staying at home. Isn't that lovely? Everybody can do it. So now let's talk about and your opinion and what you know about DreamTime, Carrie, because I was told that you have the ability and the clarity of about DreamTime.
Oh yes, apparently, well, why am I saying apparently? It literally happened, didn't it? 3 years ago or so, 4 years ago, I started having dream times which I can recall. And upon waking, on how I recall it effectively is as soon as I wake up, I have a notepad next to me, so I write them all down. And at the same time, when I try to remember more pieces of the dream, I tune in back to how I was feeling when I was having the dreams. Yeah, what emotions are you having? are you having fear, joy, laughter, or anything else that are beyond that, in a sense, that sometimes the human mind can't quite comprehend, because it is multidimensional. It's sometimes very hard to explain in words, and sometimes I even wake up crying because I miss the home planet. And now you're laughing. And then I write them down. And the more I write them down, the more clarity I get as I tune back into how I was feeling at the time and what messages the guides or what the dream itself is trying to tell me. So I write them all down quickly, and then the more surfaces, you know what I'm saying, is that the more you write that down, and with the feeling that you were feeling at the time when you were in the dream times, then what happens is you can sometimes sense or recall back exactly where you were. And then, because how I do it myself is I see visuals and images and senses like smell, hearing, everything. Yeah, all of it. And then once you tune back in, and from the emotions that you had at the time, then you can also see all the visuals coming up. And then that's when I start writing more and more. And then in a nutshell, that's how I recall my dreams with more clarity. And that's what happened. And then I just started writing them down. And most of them are really otherworldly. And it's amazing, which I'm going to share more with you in a moment.
Oh, great. You know, this topic about dreams and dream time, I think it's perfect because even the medical community do not understand much about dreams. And well, I have a few of my own theories, and I'm glad I'm able to discuss this actually difficult topic and controversial topic with someone like you, who have been jotting down and having a dream journal and so on. Well, one question I have, first of all, is to ask you, do you dream with colors? Do you see colors?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Vividly.
Fantastic. And I think very few people would recall that, would recall dreams and want to talk about colors. The next question I have is, sometimes when I have dreams, I don't see the person, but I know who they are. Do you have that experience?
Yes, some of them. Some of them, you know who they are by the energy itself. It's like, it doesn't have to be in this physical 3D form. Here you are, Hock, in your 3D form as a male, and me in a female form as Kerry. Sometimes it doesn't go like that, because it's like we are literally fluid in terms of not being in a solid physical body like we are here in the 3D. So what happens is you can tune into the person, or the person may tune into you as well. And then you get the feeling, and then you can say it's somewhat like, it's not even telepathy. It's like transference, energy transference. It's like you don't even need to talk about who he is or who she is or who I am, etc. You just know. It's just like, that's it. And then you just know who it is. It's like the soul are familiar with each other in a way. It is quite a broad subject, by the way.
Indeed.
Very
Well,
broad.
well, you know, it's a medical fact that people who are not able, well, dream time or dreams are associated only when you sleep, all right? So in a medical community, we know that people who have complete insomnia and who can't sleep, and if it is like a stretch of about 10 days or 14 days, actually without any sleep for that amount of time, it has been recorded that they will die. And one of the explanations I can suggest is because we lack the dream time. And during dreams, our soul would soar up into the astral and other dimensions to, you know, like it has to be uh, such occasions for the soul to free itself from the confines of our avatar or our 3D bodies. So, what do you think about that?
Yes, in many cases, even now in waking time, we have other selves here that are multidimensional doing other things because there's no time. But here we're experiencing time, the linear time and space here on Earth in a physical vessel, where there's a start, beginning. No, sorry, there's a start, middle, and the end. Yeah, so A, B, C, like the 24-hour clock here. But when we are fully relaxed and dreaming, we may go off, you know, we may get out of our bodies and go elsewhere and explore, which is very interesting. That is a whole other realm itself. And what I'm also getting is when I had these experiences, is amazing. It's like one time my bed started shaking. It still does that every now and then because I am actually being taken to the galactic healing chambers. And the colors are really bright. It changes every so often as well, depending on what needs healing. These are the visuals I'm getting right now while I'm telling you. And it's just absolutely amazing because I was having a hard time a few years back, especially when the body was crystallizing. And I still managed to get to the matrix workplace, you know, and that was amazing how it is very, very excruciatingly painful. But now that I have cultivated more of healing and being gentle to myself, the body here is a lot better now. It is very, very good right now. And I'm so grateful about that right now. And yeah, and yeah, it's just amazing, these things and all the dream times happening. And some of the dreams I had, most of them actually, are not of this earth. They are of other realities, but somewhat they are similar in structure to the earth. Some of them are literally other worlds, which I'm going to talk about in a moment once we get to the dreams.
Yeah. Oh yeah, before we go into that, have you dreamed of flying, just flying and seeing the countryside, seeing, you know, below you when you're above the buildings and just plain flying? Have you have that sort of dream?
I had one that I remember. There's no doubt that we all do it, but it depends on each person when they wake up from their dreams to see whether they really remember it. Fire. Most people should remember their dreams, fire, intense emotions when they wake up, especially when they're scared, you know, or had a horrible dream, you know, they tend to remember it, don't they, right? But if it's joy, if you feel the joy as well, and then you pick that up once you wake up, and then you just resonate with it, for example, or even coherently with the place that you have just been, but then you left because you're waking up in the body again, then you will tend to remember it. If it has a meaningful impact for you, then you will tend to remember it, which is why most of the dreams I've had really good meaning, which I remembered. And for me, I had dreams where I wasn't me. I was an animal. I was a bird. I think it was some type of a hawk or an eagle. I don't remember what it was, but I was a big bird flying over the mountains very quickly, like a bird of prey, basically. It was wings spread out, flying over some snowy mountains. I don't know whether it was Mount Ashtar or something else. I've been to Mount Ashtar physically, actually. It was a magical place. Lots of activations there. And basically, I just flying like this bird, and then it was just going around. You can see the whole mountains, the valleys, the lakes, and everything. You can see the whole, you know, vista of what's around you, and it was amazing.
Oh, fantastic! And what about nightmares? What are your views on nightmares?
Nightmares, to me, it is mostly energetically implanted from anything else that you may have seen outside of you. Like if you watch, say, Hollywood movies, the fear is mostly generated, believe it or not. I mean, some of you know already. Music from films, movies, and as well as the image. Because if you just see the image, yeah, it wouldn't terrify you as much, yeah, unless it includes more music, yeah, which is what's going on. And in the past, I do have to say rather that I have watched quite a few horror.
Yeah, we got you back.
Oh, the signal went out a little.
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear that there'll be a blackout at some point? Hopefully not now. I'm laughing. Yeah, well, it shouldn't be that dramatic. People say it's going to be 10 days internet blackout, but it shouldn't be that dramatic, hopefully. And yeah, we were talking about, yeah, that's it. Yeah, dreams. Music has a great impact, which is why the music industry is so intense, you know, and what they put out is the low vibrational entrainment frequency. And this works very well in horror films and any other films like thrillers, action films,
Yeah.
James Bond movies. I still like it though, James Bond movies, but I don't really watch anything else. So those has a great impact. And when I had those scary dreams, I don't have it as often now. Probably zero. It's just last night, funny enough, I had one, and it was the final thing probably that's in my memory that's going to be released. And what happens is when you have it, it's your own fear that you're experiencing, which is what it is really. Because after you have seen those movies from the TV or cinema, wherever you go, you take that in, don't you? And then you feel it so real, because when you're watching a movie, you're taking part in it, literally. Because you feel into all the emotions of the character. Oh, that woman has gone to the bathroom right now, and then she was looking in the mirror, and then she saw it's not herself. It's this ghost that's behind her or something like that. And then you freak out, yeah, because you think you're her as well. Because when you're watching it, you're participating in the emotions, in the emotional impact that that it was actually presenting to you in the films, and that's where the fear factors comes in.
Okay. I have another view on nightmares. I believe some of the nightmares are real, and because the soul would have gone into the astral realm, where there are lots of all these negative entities, and when you're not able to deal with it, you wake up from your nightmare. It's because the way the soul escapes from the astral entities is to come back to the body suddenly. So that's why some people have nightmares, and they really wake up from their so-called dreams, which are actually real experiences. And Kerry,
Oh,
do you
yes.
think, yeah, do you think that babies dream as well?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree, because babies also dream a lot. And some of these babies, when they cry a lot, what do you think is happening?
Very interesting question. When they cry, they're feeling the emotions, they don't know how to express it, perhaps.
Well, I had a few cases where actually babies who are crying, you see, when they are babies, they have visions which adults don't have. And they do see stuff. And
Yeah.
even in their dreams, which is very real. And there are entities that come and so-called disturb them. So babies who cry often, daytime or even at night when they sleep, I think parents should take note of these. That's my point of view. It doesn't happen in all cases, but I think most of them are.
Oh yes, that is very possible as well, because they're more psychic, so
Yeah,
they see through the other realms than the more programmed individuals when they grow up.
exactly. So when they grow up into adults and teenagers and so on,
Yes, they
and
forget about.
they forget about these things, their abilities, or they have been programmed by their parents maybe to say that, oh, it's all, uh, just a simple nightmare. So
Mm.
let us get into some specifics about your dream recall. Any dreams that you would like to discuss?
Oh yeah, sure. But before I do that, I'm gonna add something into the question you just had. Cats and dogs see through other realms very easily,
Yeah,
especially cats.
yeah.
I've got a cat here, but this cat isn't literally mine. But sometimes I look after it. Sometimes she makes strange noises, and then I know what's up. We probably have some visitors. Probably have some visitors, which I wouldn't be surprised in the city, of London. It's, such an old place. So yeah.
Yeah.
And okay, we can talk about the dream time. This one is shared from a beautiful friend last night.
Oh,
And when I started reading it, and then near the finishing, I almost cried, because there was a lot of healing involved for her personally. But she is happy that I'm going to share it. So yeah,
okay.
so let's go.
Yeah.
So she said, I was standing in a long line on the side of a hill. There was a row of luminous beings at the top of the hill. Behind them was something like a spaceship. It was long and thin, a strange grey-blue color. So long and thin spaceship, strange grey-blue color, non-descriptive. So basically, it's just grey, like bullet, long. And she was waiting for healing in a dream. So she realizes what she was there for, which is good. That means she was woke in the dream as well. Somehow, I was far back in the line. So she was queuing up with the rest of the people, or all beings. So watching these beings touch the heads or shoulders of the people before me. So the tall beings of light were touching the heads of the people that was in front of her before it's her turn. And then they were given blessings, and the people would walk away healed.
Wow.
And those in wheelchairs would come up and walk.
Oh,
Wow.
fantastic. Wow.
Yeah. Those spent with age or pain would stand straight. Then suddenly, I was at the front, Kerry. There was a queue, basically a guard instructing people which being to go to. So they were directed to different beings, well, very likely with different healing abilities. So she went to the front of the line and said, I want him.
Oh.
And pointed to a luminous being to my left. So basically, she was pointing to someone specific she wants healing from, because he had a very familiar energy field to me. The queue guard looked at me in surprise to have been dictated such a request. Who should think she is? That type of thing. And he laughed gently. And so, when it was time, I stood before this very large light entity, about 7 feet tall, give or take, or it could have been taller maybe. The man really glowed. The light was generated from inside of him, like he was his own personal sun or light source energy. This luminous man, standing tall, radiating white, gold, and light blue light, embraced me. He said, I know you. I wondered when I would see you. It's taken you long enough to get here, that being said to me. Can we not argue like we did when you channel, please? That means that she channels with this being a lot in terms of the 3D realm connection with the higher realm connection in terms of channeling. Then she said, no more arguing. I've had enough. He smiled widely and embraced me, taking me fully into his energy field. This entirely altering energy, tearing away what wasn't mine and ours, and he resetted me like a rebirth. Okay, let me scroll back up because it went funny, the screen.
Amazing dream.
He had embraced anyone else. Sorry, hadn't embraced anyone else, only her. The light around her changed to be more of a pink color. Then he asked her, what is it beside your health that you want restored? And then she said, the man, Andrea. And in a flash, she was standing in front of Andrea's door. She could see the courtyard, the little house, like it's an instant. Because there was no time and space, she was literally taken there by the angelic being, which is sounds like a large archangel. The door was closed, so she knocked it. It opened to her touch. She heard him saying something, but didn't register the words. She pushed open the door the rest of the way and walked inside. Andrea was beginning to stand up from his chair in the dining room, the one in front of the kitchen door. He saw her, and the look on his face was utter shock than joy. She ran to him, and he held her. The light man is Archangel Michael.
Oh, wow.
She said that he had cured her illnesses and Andrea's illnesses. He wanted a moment with Andrea. He called him his child. I saw the angel flood Andrea with light in an embrace, like what he had done with her, for example. He changed. So basically his physical appearance changed, and it was more of light, like more luminous, like not as dense in energy. More robust, clear, like the clouds of smoke in his fields were gone. The anger melted away as well, like literally he was full of light. Saying that he must stop smoking, the angel said. Find a new habit. You have healing work to do with others, and your the former pastimes and habits would compromise the work you are about to begin. And then he says, pay attention to your words. And this is very interesting. Saying that she realized that she had been speaking in English, but she understood Andrea's words in Italian because they had been using in that dream time a universal translator, which is a galactic technology. So languages are no barriers. It just transfers literally the meaning. And then she said, what? Is it like Doctor Who? And then he replied, yes, just like that. But it's not for one language, my dear, he said. It is for every language on planet Earth that you guys currently use, which is a barrier to unification. So basically, the angels were saying that because everyone speaks different languages in different countries, it is somewhat divided. So hence they use a universal translator.
Fantastic.
Well, at the moment we're speaking English. The angels asked what we would like to do next. Somehow it was decided for Andrea to return with me to the US. But then the angels mentioned that we could just instantly travel wherever we needed to. Wow. In that space in time, in the dream. Distance, location on the planet, it wasn't a big deal. So what happened next is that Andrea quickly tossed some clothes into his bag, grabbed his passport in the dream, We asked the angel what to do about the passport. And then the angel said, "You will see." And he embraced both of us and returned to the place I had been standing at the queue. So I am now back at the queue, my friend said, when she was queuing back in the original line. At that moment, the angel took Andrea's passport for all to see, holding it up here. He put his energy towards the passport. Here, the passport, energy on it. And then it was marked with a symbol that looked like an angel, but also was some type of crest you would see on a Starfleet of a uniform. So it was like a galactic symbol or some kind. It was multicolored, holographic in nature. So basically holographic, you can see it like it moves and things like that. Basically, it has life to it. And those light purple and pink and gray, blue, light metallic colors, it turned into a badge very quickly. Wow. But this is what's weird. That same energy on the badge also moved and merged with both of their auras.
Oh.
So they felt like, so basically she was saying that she felt like she was stamped energetically as well, like literally, as to be identified as office somehow, restriction of movement or things like that. And then the angel said, "Okay, we have more people to assist." And then she and Andrea were allowed to do this for the others. So their energy they have been given, they can now touch the people's head and shoulders, which is why they were being returned back to the queuing line. And then they were all healed as well. So that she was given a gift, a divine gift. And the first time I read it, I started crying a bit, as I was reading towards the end. Amazing, right?
I tell you, this is it's beyond description and words, but my interpretation is that now there will be lots of people, as you saw in the dream, having to queue up, are being healed during their sleep. Kerry, I think that's what's happening now. You know,
I had it one time. I had it one time, I have to tell you, that was 2 years ago. And I believe I was being healed by the Arcturians or Syrians, which both are my star families. One day I was just sleeping, and then I had 2 layers of jumpers on because it was very cold. But then one of the jumpers came off, and it's very unusual because I wouldn't do this myself. It was next to my other side of the bed, and then it was like, seems like it's fully flat ironed, and then it was just laid down flat. And then when I woke up, I was like, why is it there? But then I didn't feel pain anymore when I was having aches around my shoulders and the neck, and then it was gone. So I knew that they came, but I didn't have full memory of it whatsoever. They didn't allow me to remember it. Maybe because they know that I may be scared if I see them in person. Yeah. I think I would get scared, but I would be quite prepared. However, I probably wasn't mentally prepared at the time, so they wouldn't allow me to see it. But then they allow me to see their ships twice.
Wow.
10 meters above my head. When I was living in another area of London at the time, and one evening, me and a buddy was sitting in the kitchen, just minding our own business, and then all of a sudden, next door the kitchen, the other kitchen area, someone was cooking something. They forgot to turn it off, so it nearly burnt down the kitchen because we can smell the really strong smell coming out. And apparently she was cooking for something for about 2 or 3 hours, and then it was nearly burnt. And then so me and the buddy friend quickly went to the front of the house, the front porch. And then we put the alarm off as well because it was really loud. And then the neighbors were wondering what's going on. And then we got out for about 5 minutes, and it wasn't that long actually. And straight away, I was guided to look up the night sky. And then guess what I saw? I cannot believe it right at the time. It was two kind of like ships. It was possibly partially cloaked because it looks very fluid like water. And then it can change shape really quickly, where I have shown one of the pictures to you before. It was
that's right.
a dark blue color, yeah. And then it was like, you can say it was like swimming very quickly from left to right. But then it slowed down for me in the middle because they knew I had my phone on me possibly and wanting to take pictures of it. So they slowed down a bit, which was quite interesting because I thought they wouldn't, but then they did. Probably at the same time, they were checking on me as well to see my well-being, which is amazing. So I took some pictures of it, and I also took a video of it, but it was quite dark to see. And wow, it was just amazing. It was the second time that I've seen it. The first time was in Portugal when I saw it, when I saw a blue sphere of the same color by the balcony just outside. It was even closer than the one 10 meters above me. Wow. Which was amazing. Yeah. So these were the two occurrences that happened. And I'm sure there will be more and more. There's some that I've seen as well, but they are farther away because the city here basically is not safe for them to be that low up the skies. Plus they need to lower their vibration a lot to do it as well. And this is not a safe time. So much going on right now in the world, so they wouldn't lower themselves that much. But it was an amazing experience. And also to tie in these experiences in the outer reality, which I've seen with DreamTimes, I have actually seen all these galactic ships and beings in DreamTimes first, before I actually saw them in waking time. So these realities actually manifesting for those ones who basically resonate with that.
Wow, what an experience, actually. Beautiful.
Yeah. The first time I was shocked. The second time I was like prepared for it mentally. So they showed up.
Honestly, yeah. And how do you remember dreams, Kerry? I think lots of our viewers would ask this question.
How do I remember? Earlier on in our conversation, I was saying about how best to remember it for me personally is I'll write them down as soon as I wake up. And then I tune back into how I actually felt emotionally at the time. Because for us humans, we are very unique because we have emotions. We have really intense, strong emotions, and which allow us to be also imaginative and creative. So this is what makes us very different as well as our amazing DNA that we have. Yeah. And yeah, I said the best way is to write things down as quickly as you can. Just have the notepad and a pen next to you. Make sure the pen works, by the way, because one time it didn't work for me. I had to go and quickly grab one. I was like, where is it? Because I had dreams of ships. I want to write it all down. And thankfully, I had some spare ones, which is at the end of the, I had to go outside to get to another room to get it. And then that was good. And yeah, more importantly is just to connect with yourself, like in meditation, breathe gently, and then tune in back to when you were in the dream that you remember partially. And then for me, it's mainly the emotions and the impact that it has made on me that enables me to go back more onto the dream that I had, and the details of it, the specifics as well, sometimes show up as well. And it really depends on how meaningful it is to you as well, to be able to remember it. It's like, say if someone gives you a birthday present, if you personally didn't like it, you wouldn't give that much meaning, would you? And then someone else gave you a better present, and it was like, oh yes, it's a flight tickets to Hawaii, and then you'd be more worried about, you'd be more concerned about the Hawaii tickets than the one who gave you something that they bought from from the supermarket of a, say a tin of chocolate biscuits, Yeah. Of course you were more impacted by the Hawaii tickets, Yeah. Well, so something So it's the level of intensity. Yeah, that also allows you to remember your dream times more as well.
Well, you gave a very important tip for me about emotions, which is something very new. The trick that I use actually is before going to bed, just before, dozing off, you just tell yourself that you're going to remember your dreams.
Oh,
And
I
it
do that as
works.
well.
Oh, yeah. All right.
You know,
That's also,
if I want to go back, to a dream that I had and wanted to continue, sometimes it doesn't happen though. You can state that, please return me back to the dream where I was in the earth, seeing all the caves and the waterfalls. Please, I would like to go back into that dream time specifically. And then you have to give your reasons why you would like to, so that it gives you meaning again, in order to return back there. And what is it that you want, to go back to that specific dream? And what's your intention? And I mean, if it's pure intent, yeah, then it shouldn't be hard for you to go back in there if it's what you really need. But if it doesn't, yeah, then just let it go and it should come. Because guess what? I let go of something that I really wanted to have an experience in the dream with, and then it happened. It was with a Korean celebrity that I wanted to meet for a long time. And then he came in my dream right on 1st of March. And then I remembered every single bit of it. Yeah, it's amazing. We were probably a soul connection in the family soul pod. So he came in my dream and then we had fun together. And also 2 days ago, he was in my dream again, and then I see him doing a video shoot. He was by the park, and then he and another member of the band was doing a photo shoot, and then I was there watching them doing a photo shoot. So that was interesting. Yeah. So yeah, things do happen. It's amazing what you can also tap into, like the different timelines that you can choose to experience. Although it may not be in 3D here right now while I'm talking to you, it could be in the DreamTime reality where you can experience that as well. I mean, at the same time, it can seem to be as real as waking time.
yeah.
Which is amazing about it.
Well, I have a very unique experience with dreams. Okay, let's say on Monday I had a dream, okay? And then it finished. On Tuesday night, it will continue from where I stopped.
Ooh.
Yeah, and on Wednesday, it's part 3. I would just continue the dream, This is too much.
It's trying to get you a message.
Yeah, yeah,
something.
that's right. And so, do you have any messages to humanity from your dream times, Kerry?
Oh yes, I do actually. It's just to trust in yourself and trust in the messages that you receive, and always write them down. Especially if we wanted to check back in the future about what happened. So yeah, documenting them is the best way, and also you can share your experiences to others as well, and have no fear.
Yeah.
I know people have recurring nightmares. Some people actually told me in a conversation recently saying, "Oh, Kerry, I had recurring nightmares of the same thing." And then I tell them, I think it's because that there's something that you need to face that you're not dealing with, so it keeps coming back. So I told them that.
Yeah, does this apply to ordinary dreams that are recurring? I mean, not necessarily nightmares, but the same theme keeps coming back in several dream times. What do you think of this?
It depends on the nature of the dream, what it's about. But in general, I believe it would be to ask you to literally pay attention.
Right.
We are trying to tell you something, and then they're asking you to pay attention, write it down, or they just asking more to. It literally depends on what dreams you are having.
Yeah.
And how and what it means to you, because for different people it's different. It's like when people see the numbers like 777 or 111 or the typical 1111, it would have different meaning for them. Because you get different people asking you. Yeah, ask me, for example, oh, why do you always see 1111? What does it mean to you? Or Kerry, what does 555? What does 555 mean? You know, and then I say, well, when you connect with the number, what was it telling you? What feeling do you get? You know, and I ask them to do that instead of asking other people what they're experiencing.
Yeah, I also believe that nobody else really can interpret fully the dreams that you have, because dream interpretation is not easy, and the message is for you, and it's only you yourself who can interpret the dreams. That's what I believe, Kerry.
Mm. Yeah, I'm going to tell you 2 dream times I've had very quickly.
Okay.
First one, I'm going to tell you, this is amazing. Oh my God, I still remember it very clearly. I was in the New Earth. Some call it Agartha or other names. And I was feeling into the area. I'm walking in there now. Wow, it's very fresh. There, you can literally hear it before you see it. Waterfalls on the side. The waterfalls have 3 splits. It is like, it's very large and wide. Waterfall, tall as well. High up, some sort of cave area. But it's not really cave because there's this opening where you can see these clear skies. And then the atmosphere seems very fresh, crisp, cold. I was taken to an almost like a forest-like area with, it was like richly abundant nature surroundings, yeah? You see a lot of greens everywhere. Pure oxygen, I can remember breathing it in. It's like nothing on earth. It's very pure, crisp, light. It's like you can, when you breathe in, you can literally feel it refreshing your entire body. Very fresh, clean, crisp, cool. Made me feel very hydrated all over, just being there, literally energized. Like having drink quality, pure, clean mineral water. So that's amazing. It's otherworldly. The area basically felt very round, you know, it was round. It was like, in my feeling now, I'm thinking that it wasn't really 100% constructed. It was like really new, the space. Probably the other beings have created that space there, you know. It could be a testing ground or just something that's really new in that area there in the inner earth. It was like almost untouched, very pure, clean energy, pure oxygen. And then I just wrote them down because, like, literally I wouldn't remember all of it. Oh, this one is interesting as well. Another place that feels like Earth. This one is interesting. I think you may have experienced something like this as well. I think most people would. That when you're dreaming, you're in a body, but the body you're in is not your current body here in the 3D. You are another gender. I was a man in a man's body. I am him wearing a backpack, you know, exploring in shirt and jeans, brown spiky hair type of thing. And I was so happy, you know, just being free and exploring this light, fresh, beautiful place. Like the land is newly created again. It was really undisturbed, very peaceful and quiet. And once again, I just loved the water because he was going towards the waterfall. Because he heard it, it was like, yes, and then he just ran to it. And then you basically hear it from a far distance. So I went to see and approached it. Wow. And this is what's amazing. The waterfall is not a normal waterfall. It wasn't running from top to bottom. It was reversing. Oh. Because it's anti-gravity. It was defying gravity in some sort of way. And it's just reversing. So I find it fascinating. I was just standing there and just looking at it for ages as this male body, you know, that wasn't me. Well, it would have been me, but just not in the 3D here. So it was very interesting. moving upwards the waterfall. Again, it was similar to like Inner Earth, and it was really fresh and new, and the location is undisturbed. There were lots of beings there, like parrots, other type of tropical birds, and some other small animals that you've never seen before. Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I wrote them all down so that I remember them. Otherwise, I wouldn't remember it. I didn't write these down. There are tons more that I have dreams of, and all of them have given me meaning. I think it is showing me what is going on besides our reality in 3D here, that there are other worlds happening that are being built, in a sense, that are being built, which we can also enjoy.
Fantastic. I just remembered a dream I had about 2 years ago in 2018. Now, it's a bit frightening, but I tell you.
Bring it on.
Carry on, okay. You know, in 2018, in November 2018, there was a huge flood on my island, and the destruction was horrible. So I had to go and take my daughter back from school, and I saw the destruction, which was really, really scary. And luckily, I was in my four-wheel truck, and I managed to get as near as possible, but I still had to park the truck somewhere and go get her from the school. And it really, really troubled me to see so many people suffering and the physical destruction that had occurred. So I decided to put a shield of energy to protect my island. And listen now. So I did that energy work, and I was very proud of myself. And I said to myself, no more natural disasters on my island. You know what? In the night, I had a dream. And behold, I look up in the skies, and I knew, I couldn't see her, but I knew it was Kuan Yin.
Wow.
I couldn't see her, honestly, but the energy told me she's Kuan Yin, and she warned me. She warned me. She said, take that shield of protection off your island, or else.
Oh.
Yeah. So I knew that I have interfered too much, and I haven't had any permission or mandate from heaven to do such work. So when I got up in the morning, immediately I removed the shield.
Oh, well done. At least you've done that. You've been told off by her.
Yeah, honestly, directly. And, it was so clear. And, it was a lesson. And ever since that episode, before I interfere with worldly issues, I will ask permission from heavens.
Really? Oh, God.
Well, we had a good chat, Kerry.
We did.
And
there's another one. Yeah, there's another very scary timeline I want to tell you that I almost forgot to do this. Yeah.
Okay, carry on.
Yeah, it's another scary timeline here, apart from yours. This one is a few years back, where I am not me. I think I'm a galactic being because I was wearing a jumpsuit, and then I can jump very high, very agile and fluid, like a martial arts person. And I see as that being, I don't know whether I'm male or female, although that wasn't important at the time. Because when I woke up, I was thinking, was I male or female? But then I was given the answer, it's not important. basically humans were being forced inside large black transit vans, very fearful energy felt. I felt I was a watcher, investigator of some kind. And basically, the black transit vans occurred several times in my dream times. And then always see that people are being forced into it, you know, like they are taken somewhere, of course, for whatever purpose they want to do to them, but the dark controllers. And as for the jumpsuit that I was wearing, it was very flexible. It was like you're not wearing anything, which is very interesting. I easily went up a steel beam by a large building, so basically jumped very high up, and I don't get tired either. A thick beam kept me hidden from being seen. Oh my God, it was very scary. I remember when I was up there. And interestingly enough, I definitely wasn't me, as in Kerry, because I wasn't scared of heights at all. I was really high up. And then, well, it wasn't my concern at the time anyway, with that being that I was. It was very dark, nighttime. I can't tell whether I'm male or female. I saw many robotic police, and you must have seen the movie Robocop.
Yep.
Oh my God. This is what I saw. Lots of Robocops walking around. There's some of them that are half human. Some of them are not. Some of them are complete robots, the really huge ones. The huge ones were scaring me because I thought when I was up the beam looking down, one of them almost caught me, I think. And then I just hid behind the bar, the steel bar that shielded me from being seen. But it was quite dark anyway, which is the reason I went in nighttime, obviously, and not daytime, to catch what's going on. I must be one of those investigators. I saw tall, scary, intimidating ones. Yeah, that say they are 12 feet or taller, very huge. They're forcing innocent people again and pushing them into the fans. I'm not sure what they're doing, but they were probably there to use the human resource for whatever reasons they are there for, which is scary. And then I was transported elsewhere, again in a jumpsuit, with, this time I got a sidekick with me.
Oh.
We don't have to talk because he and me, or she, yeah, we probably we don't have any gender, I don't know. We know what each other's thinking, so we team up, and then we were transported to this big hospital. I think it was very clinical. Everything is white, all four walls. It was very big space, no windows. This is what's scary, no windows. And then I was like, oh, like that. If it was Kerry, yeah, I was like, oh no, I'll be very scared. But those guys, they're badass. The one that I was with as well, he and me just had to team up, and then we see a few nurses coming up towards us. We thought they were nurses, but they're not. And then it turns out that they were monsters. They got green faces.
Oh.
And then one of them tried to quickly attack me with the vaccine, you know, wanted to stab me with it. So but for some reason I was very strong. I managed to push them, and then self-defense. I don't know where the skills came from because I don't really know martial arts as in proper martial arts. I know some self-defense in real life, but not to that extent, like the jumping, like the acrobats and all that. And then, wow, that was amazing. And then me and the buddy had to take them all down. There were quite a few there because they were starting to eat people there. Oh my God, this is so scary when that happened. And then when I woke up, I was scared. But when I was in the dream, we were really cool and calm like cucumber because we were trained for it. And there's what happened. And then they were there trying to like lock all the people in one space. And then what else they do to them, I don't know. But they were trying to take energy from those people in any way they can, like scaring them, taking their blood. I mean, on a level, this is what's happening in the real hospitals here anyway. They take people's blood samples. What do they do with it? They do lots of different things. DNA manipulation, changes, etc., etc. But I don't want to go into the conspiracy stuff, which many, you know, label as conspiracy.
You know, Kerry, can you tell me the time, like say, roughly, when how long ago did you have this particular dream?
3 years back, more regularly, but the first time I remember the really intense ones was 5 to 6 years ago, where I started having these.
Well, I ask you it's because in that particular dream, you were actually a witness to human abductions.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it is human abductions, and in your dream, you have actually confirmed what those conspiracy theories have always talked about, you know, that the abductions are for human resources, you know, energy, etc. And I have reason to believe that lately these abductions have been dealt with some other light warriors. So hopefully these abductions would have stopped. So the time that you had this dream was probably the peak of abductions that is going on. And
6 years ago.
I think it has been reduced or totally stopped.
Yeah, I haven't had those dreams since. Not since 3 years ago. I haven't had any. I haven't had any of these crazy dreams. Why am I so crazy, Kerry? You know, you go, wearing a jumpsuit, and jumping around and kick ass. Yeah, it was good, yeah, but I wasn't scared at the time. It was when I woke up, then I started to get scared, because I thought, why am I remembering all this? And it is because for me to document them.
Right.
So now I'm more mentally prepared.
Yeah, and I think we have a very good chat, Kerry. And to summarize up is that everybody dreams, but it is the ability to remember these dreams. And one of the methods is before they go to sleep, they should tell themselves that they will remember these dreams and then write it down immediately upon waking. And the interpretation of these dreams, they can only do it by themselves for real interpretation, honestly. Somebody else will not be that accurate. And also dreams are real. And that's about, basically about dreams. So
yeah, on some level, dreams are in fact real, because here, when you think about it, we are very limited in this 3D waking physical vessel. You're thinking that that's just it, but that's only just one fraction of you in consciousness, because you are literally doing lots of things at the same time, especially when you can recall what's going on in dream times. And that's a great benefit, actually, so that you are multi-dimensional. Remember this, folks.
That's right. So finally, before we signed off, Kerry, I would say that if any one of you want to have a laughing gym session with Kerry Chu, and it is a must should you require natural healing and raising your vibration and frequency, and to be grounded properly with stability and the vibration of cosmic joy and love, please get in touch with Kerry Chu. I have the details down below in this video. So thank you once again, Kerry, for sharing your wisdom and dream time. Have a good dream tonight.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Bye.
Talk soon. Bye.
Bye.